finances don't look bad, but we have $106,000 total in our savings and our checking account. But
Any questions?
but that can go quickly. Oh, you know, we were talking about where do we put this bar. Today when I always come in around the fairgrounds. I live by Chaseley. I'm Connie Zach. I'm sorry. I live north of Chaseley. I thought, oh, I wish we had the place where, right across the street where they tore down that building. I wish we had that whole corner to put it into a museum or something. But anyway, I forgot what I was going to say. That's
The location of the barn would be right north of the in gate where you walk in, right?
Yeah, we have to do the one in
Or
landfill.
south,
In the
south.
south of it, yeah, where the Forest Hill used to be.
Yeah.
I would make a suggestion that when you do this historical thing with the building, if it comes to that, is to try to get a list of Wells County residents that raced horses, thoroughbreds and whatever. I mean, that, I don't know how to go about totally about that because you're gonna have to search pretty hard for that, but there should be some resources to find a lot of that.
And I just, during the fair, I had, Ron Cavalius came up and he said, do you want some horse, you know, they used to get blankets out for it.
Right.
And that, I don't remember who, he said there's a guy down in Texas that has 3 or 4 of them and would like to donate and for that, so, and that would be interesting to be put in this new fair museum.
I know in Hertzville there was, of course, Leo Schatz,
Oh, yeah, there was
and
Oh, yeah, there.
Lawrence Mertz always in race horses. I don't know.
there's a lot of, you start snooping, there'll be a lot of that to come up.
So, but anyway,
So I think you guys got a good plan. You're working with the fair board on all this?
Mhm. Back and forth, yeah. The biggest thing, and I'm not sure the procedure we have to do for this, is we need your blessing or whatever to go ahead that we could put it somewhere on the fairgrounds and where, and that would be, so I don't know where it could come back.
Well, the rest of you, but I'm all for that.
You maybe want more specific as to size. And
Yeah.
then we
because,
can
yeah,
decide
before we
on that.
put any money into, we're gonna have to know.
You're gonna have to
for
know that too.
That we have a definite.
You don't want to do anything at where the barn is, you want that for other reasons.
Well, you know, we thought about that, but it's hard for people to get up there, and the rest of our
Kind of
museum is
Yeah,
there. You know, unless we would have like a little golf cart path that we could cart everybody up there and bring them back.
It'd be more conducive.
It'd probably be used a lot more than put it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah,
And
and it would
like
be easier for us
she
too.
had said too, was that I've brought up since I've been president, when the museum was started 60 years ago, they were collecting stuff from basically
Yeah.
1900 to the 40s. And well, that 40 years actually, so we should be collecting stuff from the 50s through the 90s with that because, and that's, we need more room because stuff that we think is just, no, that's, these young kids, like, I want to put in, I have every cell phone I ever had. First bag phone, I still have my bag phone, you know, and just, because you tell a young kid a bag phone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's gonna be our
And so,
another.
yeah, that's what we probably put with
Like
all
you
modern
Or
stuff.
you
Calling
know,
an
you
airstrike.
think of a TV that, you know, where those big console TVs and now we have this.
So,
That doesn't sound like an
talking
antique to
about
anybody, but.
doing whatever you're gonna do, how big a building are you talking about for a museum?
Well, what would fit, I don't know, I haven't met what would fit. We were talking, you know, we'd make it replica, so same width of what the horse barn is now. And instead that one is 180 foot long. We were talking 60 to 80 foot. I'm not sure just what the space is in there.
I have a question about that, and this is just, I'm throwing it out there, what would be wrong if you took the middle 60 feet of that building and restored it? I'm just throwing it out, because then your stalls are already there, I mean, whatever it's in an area people are used to that, that's only a suggestion, I'm just, you know.
Yeah,
We know the one end is not very good,
No,
even the stalls aren't very good on the
because that's
east end.
The west end's got some issues.
you
So
know,
it's
we'd have to
easy.
pick and choose
Yeah,
which
I'm just
stalls,
saying,
you know.
just to give you an
Yeah,
idea.
but that's,
We had thought about that too, about just cutting it off and taking part of it, but
Yeah.
when we had a carpenter or construction man look at it, and he said,
yeah.
Sometimes it costs more to do that.
Yeah.
yeah. So, but that has crossed our mind, yes.
That's like fixing old fences.
Or anything old, you take apart, you and put money on
You
it.
guys got a wonderful thing going. Appreciate your newsletter you sent out.
Thank you.
Good job.
And if you don't get it, talk to us. $10 a year.
I think the county should hire you the way you guys are able to raise money.
Well,
We have been,
it is
been very
surprising.
fortunate with that we have, you know, that people have stepped up and donated and.
Yeah.
I guess as we get older, we get more nostalgic.
Well, you know,
And
people
things are more
like
important.
to see the old history. People are willing to get behind that, so.
And we do have, I mean, during the all-school reunion there, we get more compliments. So
Yeah.
it's one of the better museums around. Have a lot of good items and artifacts.
And Dave and his wife, Amy, are just super, I don't know where you get the energy
We
and
live there too much.
stamina to do it all, but they do.
Well, that's what it takes, though. Good
Thank
job.
you, guys.
It takes
Thank you.
dedication and, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your presentation. It was very good. Oh, Brent, you were on.
All right. Well, I'll start with the state shed. I spoke to Dan about this a little bit yesterday. So, we leased the state shed on a 2-year lease, and our lease expired at the end of July here. And I got a phone call early last week, mid last week, from the DOT. His name is Wyatt in Devil's Lake. And the phone call started very good, and then it kind of went south a little bit. So the State Highway Department hasn't sent us out a new lease for the state shed yet because they're concerned about some asphalt piles and some cement piles that are in the back of the property. Those piles were there. They were way smaller, but they were there when we first started leasing it, and we have added to them over the past 7, 8, 9 years. So in the lease it states that piles have to be moved on a yearly basis. They have no problems with the chip piles or the millings piles, or we've had gravel out there, but they want those 2 piles removed.
The rock or the cement?
The cement and the asphalt piles. Okay, they were started by the state, and we just kept adding to them. Okay, they said, that there was there's a couple old chairs that were laying out there. It's way in the back part of the fairgrounds or of the lot. You won't see any of this unless you drive in. So I said, okay, well. Then I asked them, I said, do you have somebody else that's willing to lease the building? No, that's not the case. I said, do you want the property back? No, that's not the case. I said, okay, well, I said, I'll speak to the commissioners about, removing some of these piles. So Dan and I talked, like the asphalt possibly could be reground up and reused in a highway. We'd have to find somebody that would grind that asphalt up. The cement, some of it has rebar in it, it just needs to be hauled away. I think the city of Harvey was taking cement many years ago out at the dump ground at Harvey, and then they wound up having to get rid of all that cement. I'd have to find a place to haul this cement. As you know, we're short of help. It might be an issue where we have to hire somebody, some trucks to help get rid of these piles. At least make an effort to show that we're trying to get rid of these piles. And so then, after speaking with Wyatt a little bit, then I made sure that I brought up, in a very nice way, what we've done out there. A new bathroom, a new furnace, door work. We pay them $3,000 a year, $6,000 for the year, 2-year lease, and we take care of everything. We heat the building, we fix the building, we've done everything possible that we can to keep that building in good shape. We mow out there, we mow especially more during the fair because it's adjacent to the fairgrounds. We want it to look nice. We don't always keep it caught up. But, and there's, you know, we store stuff out there. But when we first leased the building, we didn't have to give the state a spot. And then that one winter, there was a snow emergency written in by the governor, and we gave a spot to the state because of the snow emergency. And when the next lease came out, then we have to give the state a spot for 6 months out of the year. And so we give the state a spot, the best spot in the building. We give them the front and center spot. We have to move their trucks to get their truck to get our trucks out. We have to move our truck to get our trucks back in. We're paying for everything out there. And we use it 6 months out of the year. Now the weed board is using it where they store their chemicals out there because it's heated. So I guess the question is for you guys is, do we want to lease this anymore? Or are we going to work on getting rid of some of these piles and continue the 2-year lease for $6,000? And if so, you know, I mean, I don't want to pull blade guys off right now, and we have no other help. And we're probably talking about anywhere from 50 to 100 truckloads of material that need to be taken out of it.
How valuable is that storage for us? Can we get along without it? Let me ask that.
Well, it's where we keep our 2 plow trucks.
In the winter, it's
In the
really
winter.
important.
Because we don't have heated storage for everything in Pheasant. That, just in the past couple of years, we started storing the weed board chemical in there. But for the most part, we don't use that building from mid-April till mid-November. It just sits there empty. We put some stuff in there for the sheriff's department during the fair that's normally out in a barn. But for the most part, 6 months out of the year, we don't use it. Could we get by without it? Depending on what happens in the future with the road department. Right now, we have no help. Jeff came back out of retirement to help this summer. We aren't getting any applications. The one application we got managed to work for 2 days and quit. What are we going to do this fall when it comes to snow removal? I got that problem taken care of, I think. If we put a snowplow truck in Sykeston, Jeff is hired as temporary help right now. He does not want to work every day. But if we put a snowplow truck in Sykeston, he said, call me when it snows and I'll go move snow. And then I'll park the truck, and if it doesn't snow for 2 weeks, I won't come into work. And when we get snowstorms where the trucks have to be out, I'll go move snow.
You got 2
That's a
snowplow
perfect
trucks
deal.
in there?
Yep,
2.
2. That would eliminate one.
Is there room to put one in the Harvey shop?
There, absolutely, but we don't have a driver currently. I mean, it would be me or whoever else works for the county to drive to Harvey to get the plow truck. Well, we absolutely have the room,
Yeah.
okay? So yes, and we have room in our main shop in Pheasant for one motor grader and a plow truck. We, you know, if we work on anything in there, we have to move something out and plug it in. But could we put a plow truck in Pheasant in this main shop? Absolutely.
And a blade.
And a blade. If Jeff said he would help, if we put a plow truck in Sykeston where Jeff lives, then that building, we wouldn't have a plow truck in there. And our 3rd truck that is a backup truck stays plugged in a cold storage building in case we need it. Okay? So the big question is, and I'm not sure of this answer because this happened before me, is that oil tank out there. Long before we were leasing this property from the state, we had that oil tank. We've been using that oil tank for 20 plus years. If you remember, it was 4 or 5 years ago, we re-insulated that tank.
The Log Boys did all that.
Yep, painted it, everything. So if we decide not to lease the property from the state in the future, we have to make sure that we got to find the stipulations on that oil tank, and it's before my time. It's on state property, but to my knowledge, every penny that has gone into that tank, as far as fixing the heaters, re-insulating it, painting it, everything, the county has done for in excess of 20 years. So we gotta go back and look to see if we really do own that tank. And then basically we go back to the way it was when the state had the shed. It's their property, they can maintain it, we'll get our piles out of there, and as long as we have access to that oil tank, which we have 5,000 gallons of oil in right now, honestly, would we miss that building? Yeah, in a bad winter, but could we get by without it? Well, we did for many years before it.
Well, maybe we should just play a little bit of hardball with them.
Yeah, and I mean, I was very nice with the gentleman, but I also wanted to remind him that we have stuck tens of thousands of dollars into that property, just in repair of that building. Not to mention the oil tank and all the mowing and everything that's been done out there. Before they shut that shop down, they built a big cement wall. It's almost like a big enclosed dike. And the state is basically, I don't know if it'll happen this winter of 25, 26, but I suspect it will in 26, 27, is they're going to put the fluid they put in the highways, they're going to put liquid tanks in that dike so the state trucks can refill in Pheasant. You know, so, I mean, right now they've got free storage. We pay them $6,000 every 2 years, and they got storage for one of their plow trucks for 6 months out of the year. It's a heck of a deal for the state.
Sounds like about it, offer them $1,000 a year and.
Leave our piles where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good suggestion.
Leave her
Give
and
them an offer, leave the piles where they're their piles.
give them their spot.
I mean, they were both county and state pilots.
Correct. The
Well, we have
state-
it too, yeah.
Yeah, but we added to them, but they were
We
there
added
when
to
we
'em.
first
But
started.
so is the state. The state's
Yeah.
put some asphalt in.
Yeah, I understand, right.
Yeah, you know, I mean, so it's just, it kind of, it put me in a position, they said they're not gonna send us a lease until we talk to them and let them know what our intentions are.
$1,000.
$1,000 a year.
$1,000 and leave
And that
their,
won't be
or it's up to them to do what they want.
And give them their spot for the 6 months like we have in the past and try to
Yeah.
negotiate the lease a little bit.
Yeah.
How long have we had it? Like,
Well, we had it,
A long time.
yeah, 10 years. I'm trying to think when the last full-time state employee was in there.
Myron was.
Myron was in there, but we were still leasing it. He was, yeah, I mean, because remember, he had the opportunity to go to Carrington or to Harvey, and he chose the Harvey. Yeah, it's gotta be pushing 10 years. It's my entire time as a road foreman and some of Mel's, and I've been here 6 now. So, that's just something that I needed to talk to you guys about. The chip seal by Bremen we intend to do here in roughly a month. We need the weather to straighten out. It's just way more risk than reward right now. When I have to order the oil 24 hours in advance, we can have a 20% chance of rain and wake up the next morning and have 3 inches. It's just, the weather's just too volatile right now. But we will get it done. The oil is about the same price as last year. We're gonna need about 55,000 gallons to do our 10 miles. Roughly $160,000 of oil. So that's all locked in, and it hasn't been forgotten about. We still have no applications, no new applications. You know, I'm trying to line up what we're gonna do this winter. I also had another gentleman that has a commercial driver's license that lives in Pheasant that has called me and said, listen, I need something to do in the winter. He used to work for the county for a couple months. He has all the CDL and everything. He says, I'll drive your plow truck in the winter. But he says, I don't want to come into the shop every day. When it snows, I work. When it doesn't, I go home. So,
That'd be good for both of us, probably.
so I am trying to solve this problem as to what we're going to do this winter, because you guys know as well as I do, I don't believe we're going to have a third great winter. I got a bad feeling this winter. But anyway, it is what it is. There's the bridges by Bremen, on the county highway by Bremen. There's getting to be some bumps by there, by the bridges as you come up onto the bridges. We've dealt with this with all the bridges on the county pavement before. Many years ago when Mel was here, there was a hot mix project going on, and we hauled hot mix and leveled everything out. We did the one up here by Mache's, that was really rough. I reached out to, we went and tried to do some patching, to try to make it better, and I didn't like it. It was a bad Band-Aid. So I reached out to Jason. He'll be speaking to you about the project by Hamburg, about when that project starts in a month and a half or whatever the date is, of them bringing us some hot mix over there and us fixing both bridge decks on that highway.
You got gravel on there right now?
We got gravel on there
I came
now.
across the other day, I saw that.
Yep, just because to try to smoothen it off. I've been getting some complaints from the townships about it, and it's like, well, it is our highway, but,
What is kind of rough? when
The
you
north-south
cruise
road
around?
over by Bremen.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was on crossing
Yep.
the other day.
So we gotta, so we'll get some asphalt from the contractor that's doing our road over here, and have him bring a few loads over. We'll take a roller over there, and we're gonna fix it right.
Good.
Okay? So I've kind of told you about the winter snow removal plan, what I'm looking at. I have a question as far as the lot in Cathay where the school was at. Is that given back to the, does Cathay have that now?
It's sold to the city of Cathay.
Okay.
They haven't transferred the, or
Okay.
recorded the deed yet.
Because somebody reached out to me from Cathay on the city council and said, you know, are you guys gonna do anything with the trees on the lot? And I said, don't. I said, don't even bring it up. They wanted us to remove the trees. And in a nice way, I said, no.
It's as is.
We took your building down, we're gonna give you your property back, we've hauled in dirt, we've hauled in
That lot's
everything.
worth more with
We-
the trees on
I
it.
mean, are we gonna start putting slides and teeter-totters and stuff up there
Yeah,
too,
right.
you know, I mean, so I said the trees are yours. I said, don't even come to the commissioners with it. So if that comes, if you guys hear about it, I just said no.
Once they're recorded, it's theirs.
Yep. So I just wanted to double check on that. I want to talk to you about gravel. The gravel situation that the county has right now, we have no yards in the Johnson pit, roughly 2,000 plus yards in the Hartle pit, maybe a mile's worth in the Weiss pit, 400 yards, and nothing in Pheasant anymore. Okay? Maddox Construction is currently, sometime in the next couple weeks, going to put 5,000 more yards of good gravel up for us in the Hartle pit. And they will put 10,000 yards up in the Weiss pit next year. They're kind of moving to a new area in that pit, and they said they would put us a nice cone up there, and we utilize that pit because it's the only pit we have south of Pheasant. Kerry Susag, I talked to him about if he would put us another 2,000 or 3,000 yard cone up in the Johnson pit, because we haul that gravel into Pheasant and try to have 1,000 yards in Pheasant, because you just never know what each spring is going to be like if we need gravel getting into these pits. He didn't know if he was going to crush this fall, but he has a big pile that we could get some gravel from him to put into Pheasant. So you're going to see a bill from Maddox probably at the end of the year for 5,000 plus yards, probably a $25,000 to $30,000 bill. And they are going to put 10,000 up for us in the Weiss pit next year. We only have about 2,500 yards of gravel in 4 different pits, and we've had as much as 20,000 yards up at a time. So just giving you a heads up that we got to put some gravel up. We have a culvert issue, and I kind of find this a little bit. So there's a culvert over by Klein Sausage that's at the start. Boone knows which one I'm talking about. The township originally thought, I went out and looked at it this spring, the bottom's rusted out. The culvert is working fine, there's no issues with it. The township, when I spoke to the township supervisor, it was like, well, we're gonna kind of watch this culvert. You know, everything's working, but the bottom's rusted out. And then they found out it was our responsibility. And all of a sudden now this culvert's gotta be fixed.
How tall, how big was that?
I think it's a 60 inch. It's 48 or 60.
That's what I was.
It might be 48. I got the numbers back in the shop. We're probably looking at a $5,000 culvert, okay, and Kerry to put it in. Okay, so you're not looking at much, but it's just amazing how when the township thought it was theirs, it wasn't a priority, and when they found out it was ours, it's like, when are you guys going to fix this culvert? Okay, so we're going to have to do something there at some point, whether it's this fall or next fall. The culvert's working fine.
Well, with all the rain detail over there, I'm sure it ain't anywhere close to dry.
No, it's not.
It's summer, it's crazy.
No.
Well, if it's working, leave it in there.
It's just rusted out in the bottom. There's no washing out on either side. I mean, it could last 5 more years. It's just, to me, it's not a priority right now. Okay?
Yeah.
But there are some township guys over there that think it should be a priority as well.
Just tell them from this meeting, it's gonna wait till it becomes a.
Okay?
This
What about the one on the Chaseley Road?
That one, it's working, but yeah, we haven't, I checked about 2 weeks ago where there's no new
Not
hole.
falling anything?
Yeah, not that I've noticed, you know, I mean, but it is that, you know, it is something, and that's gonna be a heck
That's
of
a
a
deep-
project, boys. That's
Yeah.
not a cheap project.
No,
That's
gonna
That's
be
100 and some foot culvert, that's 60 or 72 inches, I think I can walk through it. That's 20 feet below the highway. This isn't a couple $1,000 fix.
No.
It's a $50,000 project.
That end that was kinked, did that ever get cut off?
We cut we took the end part off and rip wrapped around that end, yes,
That was on the west side.
on the west side, yes. So that pretty much sums up everything that I have. Oh, guys, we don't have to discuss it today. I know it's a long meeting for you guys, but we have to make a decision in September as to what we're going to do with snow removal at the courthouse. Because if you guys know as well as I do that we've had several early October storms, and if we wait till the October meeting, we got to make a decision. I spoke to you guys in the spring about, you know, what we're going to do there with some damage that was done to the broom, and we're still waiting on parts, and they're back ordered. One part is back ordered, and it doesn't have to be brought up here, and I can talk to Dennis about it after the meeting, and he can kind of fill you in. But we did talk about this in March. We had a guy come in and do some, you know, it's just something that, unfortunately, we're talking about things happening in the winter here because it's already August, and I don't want it to get into October, November with no solid plan. Okay?
We probably have an individual that'd be willing to do this stuff,
Mhm.
so
Yeah. It's just, you know, we got to make it official.
let's work on that next meeting.
Yep. I didn't want any answers today. What do you guys have for me?
One quick question.
Yep.
That road by, coming off Highway 3 towards Monty's, is that township ever gonna do anything there?
They called me about a month ago. Jim English reached out to me and he says, well, what's the county going to do? And I said, well, what do you mean? Well, what did you do for the other township? I said, no, the county doesn't do anything. I said, you have to contact Kerry Susag. He brings you the clay. And then we incorporate the clay in with the gravel. And I said, and then after you get a hard pack, then you have to gravel over the top. I said, all we're doing is incorporating. We're not paying for anything.
No.
And he says, okay, I'll reach out to Kerry. I said, okay. Well, when you do this, you need to contact me or Kerry Shimke as your blade guy. I said, because when Kerry's going to haul this clay, we're going to take that gravel and put it over in the windrow, and we're going to incorporate that gravel that's on the road in with the clay. And then I said, that's got to be rained on a couple times, packed, and then you have to put good gravel over the top. So I explained it to him. He said they were going to take care of it. Nobody has reached out to me in over a month about it.
I called Jim English a week ago.
Oh, did you?
Well, I haven't got a bill on it yet, he said, so isn't that done?
Oh, my.
Well, Ralph is gonna call it, it's poor management.
Yes.
Bottom line.
that-
I hate to be critical of some,
It's almost
but
got to
good
be done
lord.
sooner than later here.
You know, they agreed to do it, but I don't think deep down they wanna do it, so they just drag their feet,
Kick the can down the road.
kick it in.
So did they put it in Gary Susag?
It just keeps getting put off every year, and then we wait
Is
to
it
the
in
next.
his lap now because they called him?
We don't know.
Jim thought that Ralph had called Kerry, but he wasn't sure.
Oh.
Maybe
I
you
said
talk
you
to
need-
Gary, maybe ask him.
I have to talk to Kerry anyway, so I can reach out to him. I know that you know, Kerry knows that when he does it, he needs to reach out to Kerry Shimke.
Yes,
Yeah.
You know, so we can
Right.
coordinate with the blade,
yeah.
but,
I think
Kerry,
the only way it's gonna get done is if you talk to Kerry
I-
and just
yeah.
do it
and
and,
tell him to send the
Build the
bill to
township.
the township.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're
Those
expecting
guys-
a bill anyway.
Well, it's
just-
gone long, 2 or 3 years now.
Well,
this
we're
was
getting
gonna
to the
get done.
point where we need to do it because we're in August already, and in that gravel, you know, we've had adequate rain all summer long, that if they'd have done it in
Back
June or
in-
July,